welcome back to Surprisingly Geeky.
Hi everybody, we're back to playing Ratchet and Clank 2 after our long hiatus.
Yes.
And we were talking about Big Hero 6. Oh, I went backwards here? No. Oh, died. Died at the beginning.
No.
Yeah, died.
I was lamenting your death.
Were ya?
Like Darth Vader.
Anyway, the only reason I knew why Big Hero 6 was like a Marvel comic was because it said so.
Well, yeah, they've got like the Marvel thing when it comes up, right?
Well, like in the beginning, in the teaser trailers and whatnot, they were talking about, oh, Marvel's Big Hero 6, and I was like, well, I've never heard of it. I mean, I'm not a great example, kind of oblivious to most things before someone's like, hey, did you see this thing? And I'm like, what?
Well, yeah. And you like comic book characters, but you've never really been that much of a comic reader.
Comics are hard on my eyes. They're painful.
Really?
Yeah, they're, most comic books. There are some things, like the page format, they're hard to see, and they make me kind of dizzy, and they make my eyes hurt. So depending on how they're drawn, it's difficult for me to really get into it. It's a lot easier for like a webcomic because I can take that a page at a time, a comic at a time. But a full comic book is difficult for me.
So, yeah. So, you can be, I think,
excused?
Yeah, excused for not knowing who these characters / story were. I don't know how much of a comic book fan I actually was. The more that I think back of it, the more I think back on it, because I've always loved the comic book characters and the idea of comics, but I never actually bought all that many. Like, I would go through phases now and then where I'd be like, okay, I do like comic books, and now I want to get into comic books, and then I'd buy, all the books that I wanted for like a month or two. But then eventually, sooner or later, I'd be like, okay, well, I can't afford comics and something else. So comics would eventually, inevitably, they would always be the ones that I would cut out.
Well, I mean, I've never owned a Spider-Man comic either, but I know who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
And it's not because of the movies. Like, I mean, I was aware of Spider-Man. Okay, it may have been the cartoon. If there had been a Big Hero 6 cartoon when I was a kid, I would totally know who they were.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the same with me too. Like, I watched all of, generally speaking, like I would watch all of the comic book related cartoons, and I would know who a lot of characters were from that, or just from being interested and reading through like, internet articles and things like that. That's kind of how I got a lot of my comic book superhero knowledge. But even through all of that, I had never heard of Big Hero 6. A funny thing that I think it's funny thing that I just thought of actually was when I first saw the trailers for Big Hero 6 and like, people talking about it, my first reaction to it was, they said that this was Marvel's Big Hero 6, but I was like, well, Marvel was just bought by Disney. Maybe this is Disney making up their own thing to put into the Marvel comics. And that's basically what it is.
Either way, I really like the movie. I want to watch it again right now.
We should stop playing. Just watch it. No. It's been so long since we did this. We can't cut
Yeah,
it.
I'm not gonna do that.
So
It's nice to play that. Ratchet and Clank are like my favorite games, so it's always nice to come back to them, especially since I haven't played them in a while. And I keep thinking about like, oh, the next game you get to do this, and the game after that you get to do this, and oh, it's gonna be so fun. I'm nearly dead again.
you died. You're on lucky number 13.
Well,
Lucky. In the tuning world. That looked like you just stood there and waited for death. You were just like...
oh, I'm back at the beginning part again!
You're just like, fuck
Ah!
just like, fuck your lucky number 13.
Okay, remember, guys, I never said I was good at it. All I did was like play. Whoops.
So, I'm really curious as to whether or not they're going to make a Big Hero 6 2, or whether they'll make it into a like a TV series sort of thing, or a comic book series, like their own comic book series in Marvel, more closely relating to the movie. Like, I really wonder what's going to happen.
I'd be okay if they didn't. I mean, I get that, I love the characters and I'd love to see more.
But you'd be okay if this was the end?
Yes, I would be, to keep the source, or to keep the material as wonderfully true as it is,
Kind
I
of
suppose.
Kind of like The Incredibles.
Yeah, oh yeah, The Incredibles do not need a sequel.
Oh, really? I've never thought about this before. But they could, Disney could totally do a crossover. Big Hero 6 meets The Incredibles. Both, The Incredibles enter the Marvel Universe. How awesome would that be?
That would be pretty fun. Yes, I do have to say that would be really fun.
But yeah, The Incredibles was very much the same sort of thing. Like, when that movie came out, I was in love with that movie.
I still had a really good time when we popped that in.
Which we can't do because we actually don't have it.
Oh no, but Lindsay does.
Yeah.
That is my sister.
Who will probably eventually be a guest on the show.
If I can get her. Oh,
Probably
jeez.
when we want to do some 4-player action.
I thought you said foreplay. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
With my sister?
Didn't you know that's why I like you?
Yes, I hope
I'm
that
sorry.
you are.
That was potentially
That was
really,
creepy.
Yeah, I'm
crazy.
really sorry about that. I did not really mean.
Pat, you stepped over the line. There was the line and you stepped over it. Joke over.
Joke totally over. Also, show and relationship over. Bye.
Bye. An empty apartment, except for Patrick and his walk.
You're just like, this piece of crap, you can have this.
Took everything else.
I don't want this.
You get nothing. I don't even want this. Oh my gosh! Hyrule Warriors has ruined me.
Totally, because in Hyrule Warriors, you could just stand amidst that giant crowd of enemies
Yes!
and not be
Mow
worried.
them down. Look at this. I don't know how to play anymore. My goodness. I should really be using that scatter gun.
Yeah,
To center the
that's
camera, tap
what that
L1.
kind of gun is good for. Spray, sort of thing.
Yes. Good
Alright.
for you, Patrick. Anyway, on that note, that is the end of Surprisingly Geeky, or at
Thanks.
least this little installment. Thank you for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And we'll see you guys again in a short while.
So,